You are listening to Good Morning Sunshine, where we authentically share the good, the bad, the ugly, and the beauty all around it, reminding you that perspective reveals miracles. Good morning, sunshines. Some of you guys need to hear that this morning, that it's a good morning. And the sunshine piece of it, the warmth and light of the sunshine. Good morning, sunshines. Today's a more serious conversation, especially you notice by the title, When Life is in Shambles. What do you do? And this stems from a conversation that I was just recently having with a friend. And as soon as I got done with it, I was like, I need to pop on. I need to chat with my other friends out there in the social media world and provide these three simple ways to stay afloat, because I really do feel like some of you guys need to hear this. So if your life's not in shambles right now, no worries. These three simple tools are also going to improve your life. They absolutely could never, ever in any way hurt or harm your life. They will only bring you more joy. If you're like, you know what, things are okay right now, they're just like mediocre. Life's cool, Cal. It's not bad. Not, whatever. Also, will be supportive. And especially if you know someone, or if you're in that phase, or save this for when we are, because we all get there at some point where you just feel like your life is in shambles. Every day is hard. Every day you wake up and maybe you don't know if you want to. Some people, they wake up like, I get another day. And you're like, ah, shit, here we go. Here we go. Another day. And it's not really what I wanted, but I'm here and I'm just doing it. And maybe it's a consistent reminder of the mistakes that you made in the past, the chapters that you created in the past, and the guilt or the shame or the whatever negative emotion you're experiencing right now around all of that. And that's hard. That's heavy. That's hard. Maybe it's something that you did. Maybe it's something that you felt was done to you. Maybe it's just completely situational and you're just so distraught about what's occurring right now that you feel like your life is in shambles. I've had a few when your life is in shambles moments. Obviously, we all do. We all have these different levels of, I don't know, are there multiple rock bottoms? Like rock valley, maybe it's a pebble bottom, rock bottom, boulder bottom. That's what it feels like in my world. But I would have to say that my biggest when my life is in shambles was with Witten's diagnosis. And of course, there were other activities like our bankruptcy being one of the major ones, or different things, problems with businesses that we'd had before, whatever. There's been different when your life is in shambles. But really, that was that moment where I needed and I utilized all of these things that I'm about to share with you guys today, these three different simple ways to stay afloat. So, wherever you're at, I encourage you to take a listen and then share with anybody who you feel might benefit from them. Not to be like, oh, hey, yo, it seems like your life's in shambles, but these can help you no matter where you're at, and they could help you in the future. Okay, so let's dive into them. All right. The first thing that I want you to consider is that when you are in a state of complete misery, let's just call it complete misery, and I'm like, hey, girl, hey, guy, choose joy, choose happiness, just be your best light. You're so far removed from that. That seems freaking impossible. Probably because it is. When you talk about moving from different states of emotion, I should find this emotional ladder that it shows. It's like an energetic emotional ladder where when you're in one state, like moving up the ladder doesn't look like misery to joy. It looks like misery to maybe hatred, to blame, to self-loathing, to competition, to acknowledgement. There are a lot of steps moving up the ladder. And some of them, like, they still don't feel good when you try them on, but you indeed are moving up. I'll find that and provide that for you guys, because that's been helpful for me in the past. But it's hard to say, like, oh, I'm going to go from one to the other. Okay. And I want to acknowledge that. And I want to acknowledge that today it's like clean slate, just go for it. Just do life differently today. That's not super reasonable in our world, in our lives, and in our hearts. So then what do you do? What do you do if you can't just wake up today, completely forget that there was any past of any sort and any of those things occurred? Forget that your child has cancer. Forget that you got divorced. Forget that your job was lost. Forget that you have this financial debt. Again, not the way that it works. Of course, the past is the past, and we get to live in the now. But how do we live in the now to take steps towards our change? So I wanted to acknowledge that first. And this is a few different ways, three different ways, where you can start to immediately climb that ladder and find an immediate shift and change of your emotional state right now. And that doesn't mean you're going to stay in there forever, but it is going to adjust the way your heart is feeling. The first one is gratitude. We've talked about it a lot. Never going to stop talking about it. Never. If I know somebody who's going through a challenging time, one of the first things that I'm going to do is, hey, could you do me a favor and just take 10 minutes and connect to 10 things that you're grateful for and send me back a list, write it down, and really push them to see the things around them. And there are sometimes like, well, I can't even see anything. They're so in a point of self-loathing, misery, maybe victimization that they're like, I can't see it. And so it's not like, oh, automatically happens, but the more that you think about this, the more that you connect. So, a couple different guidelines on this: choosing something that you're grateful, thinking of something you're grateful, saying a gratitude, whatever's ailing you, maybe don't go there yet. If it's a certain person or situation, maybe you're not ready to talk about what you're grateful about them or that, but look at the basics. Look at your Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Do you have shelter? Just acknowledge, do I have shelter? Do I have a roof over my head? And if you've taken that for granted all of your life, pause and do a little bit of research about the number of people who don't have shelter. And I don't mean to like try to bring yourself down, but it will provide you some perspective. Take a look at the economy in other cultures where they've never had a consistent roof over their heads. Something as simple as that. Do you have running water? Water is 60% of your body plus, right? You need water in order to survive. Do you have access to water every single day? Water to shower, water to drink, water to cook with, water to use the restroom. Those little things, and connect with the gratitude. As you do that, even when you're in the pit of despair and whatever misery that is, you get to see that other people have it way worse than you. And I know some of you don't want to hear that. My child has cancer. Who has it way worse than me? The mom that just lost her baby, Cal. That's who has it way worse too. The kids that never survive because they don't even have the conditions to survive. Sometimes that seems doom and gloom, but it's the reality. And then all of a sudden you're like, holy shit, I am so freaking blessed that we get to go to chemo every single week. And I know that we're out of that stage, but I'm so blessed that we get to be tied to that infusion pool for 8 hours because other people don't have that opportunity. You're so blessed that you get to seek out a new job, even though you just lost yours, that you get to try out a new industry, that you get to discover yourself and move into a new relationship after your divorce, that you get to discover your hobbies and your likes and what you might really want, even though the rest didn't work, the past didn't work out how you saw it working out. All different levels of misery. And when you choose to be in your gratitude, and you might not be able to do it all day long, right? But when you decide to really be with your thankful heart and see what other situations people are seeing, you're going to see that you start to shift your energy. And as you do that more and more, the more that you do it, the more that your energy is going to change, the more that your world is going to change, the more that what you attract is going to change, and the more that your synapses in your brain are going to change. It is a practice, an everyday practice. So that's the first one. And the other thing that I just want to mention with that is, we were watching the Bob Marley movie just recently, and looking at the conditions that these small humans were growing up with in Jamaica, and how you often see the biggest smiles and the brightest light coming from those who seemingly have nothing. They don't even know otherwise. Give them a soccer ball, that's all they need. So why is it that these people with basically nothing have so much joy? They realize that joy doesn't come from stuff, and it's not situational, but it's within. So start off with gratitude, and it's going to be an adventure. It's going to take time, but during our diagnosis time, man, I probably spent 4+ hours a day at least doing gratitude. Every single time I felt my heart sinking, I would look around and I would just go through every single thing that I saw that I was grateful for. And it was really supportive. It made my heart instantly start to get into a different vibration, to a different feeling, and started to bring me more joy in that moment. So that's the first one. Okay. Number two, different simple ways to stay afloat when your life is in shambles or just to even make it a little bit better. Help someone else. Servitude is what I call it. So gratitude, servitude. Servitude is making other people smile. When you can't smile, what can you do to make someone else smile? And that might seem weird, especially in the state that you're in. You're like, I can't even get myself out of bed, let alone make someone else smile, bring someone else joy. And it might take you a little bit of practice, but even if so, you can't get out of bed. Do you have your phone by you? Can you have some positive responses to people who are on your social media? Can you send extra love? Can you go through every prayer request and put in your own prayers and really pray for that person? Praying for other people is is just a phenomenal way of bringing peace into your heart. Could you send a text message to people from your past, to people in your life, and just anything to light them up? Thank them. Do your gratitude towards them. Thank you for that moment that you supported me 8 years ago. It could be something like that. I just wanted to let you know that you're an awesome mom, that you're an awesome friend. I love to watch your work ethic. It's really cool to see fill in the blank here and serve by bringing them light. When you bring light upon others, light will continuously fill you up. Again, it's a process, but it's a beautiful way to move through. And also in person. So now you can get out of bed, right? In person, the people that you pass on a day to day basis, what can you do to bring them joy? Give them compliments. Compliment the heck out of everybody that you see in every way that you possibly can, whether it's their clothing, their smile, their energy, the way that they contribute to your office. Just give massive compliments and see how that starts to shift the way that you feel internally. And this is such a cool way to live, anyways. I hope that you guys like these three simple ways to stay afloat are actually three beautiful ways to live on a continuous basis. Maybe that's what I should have called it. To do this every single day, to wake up and to be with gratitude and to choose servitude and making people smile and laugh and feel good about themselves. What happens when you start to do the servitude piece is you see that you stop finding the negative in everything and you start like surprisingly just seeing all of these positive things around you because you're looking for them. When you're in a negative emotional state, whatever state of misery that may be, you probably, your subconscious is unknowingly grasping on to everything that's negative around you because that's what your emotional state is. That's what it's seeing. That's what your brain's seeking. So that's what it's finding. When you choose to step into a space of servitude through kindness, compliments, acknowledgement, gratitude for others, you will see that starts to become what you see more. And it's a shift. It's this gradual, energetic shift of who you are and how you show up. And you can also do like straight up servitude. Volunteer somewhere, volunteer at your church at Habitat for Humanity, go deliver little food bags or supply bags to people in need, whatever that might look like, could also feel good. But it doesn't have to be that strenuous where you're like, oh, I just don't even have the energy to do that right now. No problem. Send a text, smile at someone, give them a compliment, just have that calmness of the serenity and calmness of servitude is so beautiful. Okay, third thing that you can do in order to stay afloat or just live your best life is to live with faith, to be in faith, to welcome God into your heart and into your life. And maybe you haven't been a person of faith in the past. Probably most of you who aren't, it's because you are against religion. And I'm not talking like religion and faith are different things. Organized religion and faith are completely different things. Looking at your one to one relationship with your creator and acknowledging that he is there and he is holding you up, and you will absolutely never, ever be alone. You may have been shutting him out and you feel alone, but when you welcome him in, you see that your heart space feels differently. It might not feel happier, but it feels supported. You bring in someone who you can cry with when you welcome in your faith. Cry with God. You bring in someone you can rely on when you feel like you can rely on no one else. And this doesn't mean that he's going to sweep everything up into a nice little like pile and put it over here and then package this and give it to you. That's not what that means. It means that you know that your faith is tying you to the fact that with him and through him, you will get to the other side, whatever that means with your God. When you practice your faith and you choose him, you see that you'll always have love. You are so valuable. A lot of times in misery, you forget your value, you forget your worthiness. You don't acknowledge that you are enough. Whatever happened to you, wherever you're at, if you feel alone, right? A lot of times you just feel so alone and you feel like you aren't enough for whatever reason. There's a lot of, again, maybe like I don't want to, yeah, the like victimization and blaming that can occur there where you're just like, you're so tightly wound that you don't feel like you're loved or you are worthy. You are loved. You are loved by him always and through everything. And you are worthy and you are enough. And it is time for you to be able to build that bond so you can step into your greatest self. The last thing that I want to talk about in our life is in shambles moment, or maybe just wanting to get our life better, but this really is the shambles moment, is another piece of the conversation that my friend and I were having. So we're in this state of misery, perhaps. We're really down in the dumps. We've hit pebble bottom, rock bottom, boulder bottom, and we want to try to move ourselves out, but we see that we can't go from that to joy instantaneously. So what can we do in order to try to climb the ladder? And there's a lot of different things, but three of the most important things I see are to be a person of gratitude and see how good you have it compared to other people around the world, and then pray for those other people, pray for their joy, endeavor in servitude, the people that are around you here, the people that are there, pray for other people, and really give yourself, give your light in any way possible, and then tie to your faith. And this is actually throughout, it's not an and then, it's before all. Tie to your faith and your relationship, and if you haven't had a relationship before with God, open your heart to him because he is in you, he is with you. And at the end of that, I just want to share we all go through life as in shamble moments. I don't know if you want to call them butterfly moments or phoenix moments. They're different visuals, different visuals. Like the butterfly seems much more soft, but it does go from this like squishy, plumpy caterpillar, hairy, squiggling along in his life to this deep, dark period where his entire body turns into mush and is just no longer even identifiable. And the old you is completely gone. And with time and healing and putting back together the pieces, you come back this beautiful butterfly as you exit the cocoon. That is one of the life of shambles moments, like right where you really become. There's also the phoenix analogy for some of people that like something a little bit more powerful than beautiful. Either one is wonderful. Either one is perfect. It's yours. Where you go in and from the ashes, right? Your old you is literally burnt to nothing. Your old you is literally taken away piece by piece, and the old you dies. It is no longer. And the new you, the phoenix, rises from the ashes. And that's very powerful imagery as well. But when you're in your life is in shambles moments, it's hard to really acknowledge all of the people around you who have had their phoenix and butterfly moments. Maybe not just moment, maybe there's multiple moments. A lot of us have moments that move us from one chapter to the other, but there's probably a pivotal shambles moment, transformation, butterfly metamorphosis, phoenix ashes rising from the fire moment that you have experienced. And when you see that other people have done that, it's, I think, a little bit easier for you to connect with the fact that you will get to the other side of whatever this is. I know it's hard. I know you feel dark and angry and sad and upset and depressed and furious at some different people in your life right now. Or maybe you're furious with God because you haven't made that connection yet that he does have you. And you feel broken. You're not broken. You're not broken. You're exactly as God made you. All of those little pieces that feel like they're shattered around you, those pieces, some of them are no longer serving you. You're going to leave them down on the ground. So maybe, yes, it is of a broken nature, but your soul is not broken. The pieces around you feel broken. You're going to pick up each one of those pieces that will form and make the new you, the most beautiful expression of you. And sometimes I think that we get to experience these ridiculous adversities in life because they force us to practice things like gratitude and servitude and kindness and love and faith, because when you learn those things and how valuable they are, and then you step into your life and you live those things through normal life, like they guide your life in shambles. They raise you from the ashes and create the new you. But in your normal life, when things are just going good and you still tie yourself to gratitude, servitude, kindness, love, joy, faith, like you live this extraordinarily big way, and you give the energy of that, what you give back to the world, no matter what you're doing. In order to give back to the world and serve your light and love doesn't mean you have to be advocating publicly like I always want to do. It means that your presence, your soul, your aura, your being, your show up as you walk through a room, whatever room that is, an office, a school, a hospital, playground, the way that you walk through and the energy that you provide to the people around you, because when you're walking through and you have the gratitude, you're going to smile more, the eye contact, the servitude, the compliments, you will light people up and you will change the world. Sometimes that's why we have to go through this. We go through all of this process that seems so hard and challenging and heartbreaking, and it just effing sucks. And I get it. I see you. I feel you. I've been you. I understand. Our adversities may be different. The shambles might look a little bit different, but all of us go through a phase of feeling broken and then getting to put ourselves back together in the most beautiful way. I hope today's reminder is able to move you from one state to another as gradually as you need to take it. Write it down somewhere. I love to end with some sort of challenge, with some sort of action, because otherwise, if you listen and move on, you probably won't remember this in 10 minutes from now. But write down somewhere these key things: gratitude, servitude, faith. Gratitude, servitude, faith. Again, you could extend upon this list, but I think this is just a great foundation of moving into our best selves. Gratitude, servitude, and faith. Put it somewhere you can see it on a day-to-day basis. And let's see how your phoenix, your butterfly ends up. It's going to be gorgeous. I love you sincerely. Remember, someone out there loves you right in this moment. I might not know you, but that doesn't mean that I can't send you love from the depths of my soul, that our souls aren't connected, that our energy is not connected. That's the way that the world works. You are loved. You are seen. You are worthy. You are enough. And you will absolutely get to the other side. And when you do, watch out, world, because you are going to light it up. Callie Carroll here, reminding you that perspective reveals miracles. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye. Thanks for joining. And don't forget to subscribe. And of course, share with your friends. Guys, that's how we impact more lives. All right. See you next time.